only four of us.
Okay.
Hello, 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 and thank you for joining us today on the Global Youth Mental Health Awareness Show, where we have open conversations with the youth about mental health. I'm your host, KATINDA, the author of The Big Comeback, and founder and creative director of the Confidence and Self-Esteem Academy, and one of GYMHA's special board advisors. Now, in today's show, we are so blessed to be in the presence of three amazing panelists. And our first panelist is Dr. Elizabeth Njani. Dr. Elizabeth Njani is a mental health specialist, research director, and trainer at GYMHA. Hello and welcome to the show, Dr. Elizabeth Njani.
Thank you.
And our second panelist is Isabel Tendai Kachingamire. I hope I said that correctly. Isabel is a social worker, community development, and a mental health advocate. Hello and welcome to the show, Isabel.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and our third panelist is Emamsi R. Bossa. Emamsi is an author, conflict resolution analyst, Columbia University alumni, co-founder at African Youth Architects, and a youth ambassador. Hello and welcome to the show, Emamsi.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Now, our topic today is a real delight because in our conversation today, our guests will be giving us some insights on what is self-care, why self-care is important for our health and well-being, and also they will share with us some simple day-to-day tools and strategies to use to achieve our self-care goals. But before we dive in deeper, I always like to start the show by asking, how are we feeling today? Dr. Elizabeth Njani, how are we feeling today?
I am very happy to be in this panel today, and I thank God that I have been able to log in. Last time my network decided not to be compatible with everything else. I am very happy, and I am also happy that we are looking at a topic that is a main concern for all persons who are under the humanitarian services, and also the mental health, because this is an area we keep forgetting for ourselves as service providers and for other people who are also doing this work. So I am happy and excited to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. What about Emamsi? How are you feeling today?
All right, so I think I'm feeling great this morning. It's 5 a.m. in the morning, so I had to wake up a little earlier.
5
But
a.m. Where are you at?
I am in New York, so
Okay.
yeah, but I'm always excited, to join this kind of panelists to talk about something that is really important, especially to the humanity and also young people who really deserve to know or to have more information about this topic. So that's why when one of your members contacted me, I was more than happy to join. I say I will, no matter what time is it, no matter what time in the day, I will do my best to be there.
Thank you. Thank you for making the time to be here. That we appreciate you so much. How about Isabel? How are you feeling today?
Today I'm feeling great. Just this platform to talk about a very important topic in terms of mental health. It's really great. When I received the invitation, I was like, this is what I need to do because we are living in times. I think from where we are, this side, I'm a student, so we are going through exams and self-care is very important. Sometimes you neglect yourself and all that. And I think this is a great topic in terms of mental health practitioners and people who are in the mental health space. Because at the end of the day, sometimes we give more of ourselves and forget to take care of the self. So I think this is going to be a great one. Thank you.
Thank you. Where you calling us? Where you coming in on today? Where are you?
I'm in South Africa, Johannesburg.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, we look like we've got Adigun finally joined us. Hello, Adigun. How are you?
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
We're doing fabulous, fabulous. I was just talking about, we were all finding out how we're all doing. So you've just joined us right now. So how are you feeling today?
I'm powerfully doing great. It's really a great honor seeing all of you. And this section is just like a big time for me because this is what we actually needed at this time. We're in the post-COVID. A lot of people are going through mental challenge, and this is the topic of the day. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you for joining us. Now, it comes as no surprise that self-care is really, really important when it comes to our health and well-being. But before we dive in deeper on what is self-care, I want you to all imagine, this is also the audience that are watching this show today. I want you all to imagine a time when you did something that made you feel joyful and amazing. You know, what did you do? Where were you? Who were you with? How did it make you feel? Now, that's just an answer for yourself. That's for you to imagine, to think about those questions and answer the question. But getting back to the show, so what is self care? Dr. Elizabeth, what is self care?
Self-care, we say, is a process of taking care of one's health, and this starts with your taking care of your emotional, psychological, physical, and mental well-being in relation to the kind of work that you are doing, so that you can be able to be productive in the work, and also your ability to do it, because it may be there, you are not able to do it, but are you able to do? Because again, we look at the individual ability to take care of themselves.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Who else wants to give us more on self care? What is self care? What else could you say?
Let me pick it up from where Dr. Elizabeth stopped. Self-care is just a state of a mental way of life that every man is expected to operate on, that I need to take care of myself, irrespective of the vision you have, irrespective of the dreams and goals you have. If you don't have a coordinated person, your personal self, you have not taken care of your health, you have not taken care of your psychological being, you have not taken care of your emotional part of life. You've not taken care of, you does not have self-control of who you are. This is the beginning of self-care. Now, and when you look at the holistic way of what self-care is all about, it's just about Tayo taking care of himself to achieve his dream and purpose in life. Now, you get a job, and you want to impress everyone on that job. You are going extra mile every day, morning, night, working 10, 20 hours in a day. And the remaining 4 hours, you are inside traffic. Now, mentally, you will not be able to deliver that result. Psychologically, you will not be able to perform at your optimal. And that's why it's very important for us that self-care is about me. It's about my life. It's about my future. It's about my goal. Am I having that state of mind for me to be able to actualize that vision of becoming somebody great in life? That's all a practical view of what self-care is about. It's about me, not
Thank
anything
you.
about me.
Thank you. Thank you. Isabel, Imamti, would you like to add to that?
Sure, no problem. So I will join right before Isabel. I know Isabel has so many things to say, but so self care, yeah, it's really important because here we need. Before saying something, I agree with all my predecessor just mentioned that self care is about being deliberate in taking time for yourself. You know, taking time for yourself is really, really important uh, for the betterment of your mind, you know, the body and soul. Again, I just spoke about mind, body, and soul. So it means we need to be aware as a human person. We are part of three. I would say it's like three components, but we need to take care of. We need to take care of our mind. We need to take care of our body. We need to take care of our soul. We have three elements here. Our mind, it's our mental status. So, but in terms of our body, it comes to our physical. We need to see our physical ability. How we doing when we walk. I like the way when we started this conversation, we talked about how are we feeling. So it's exactly about um, being aware of our, like, the state of your mind, or the state. If you're feeling great, then you were able to join us today. So what usually people think when it comes to self-care is that self-care is selfish. No, it's not selfish. That's why it's really important during this kind of conversation to let people know that thinking about yourself is not being selfish. It's also taking your time to replenish and refresh your spirit in different all the different ways we can have. So I know we will want to be more effective in our work, going out there, trying to prove, going beyond, doing things in a certain way. But it is really important sometimes to stop, realize how are you doing, what are you doing great, and what are the ways you can improve about yourself, about how you can impact, because you can never make a great impact in the community with other people if you are not taking care of yourself at first. So we only give what we have, but if you don't even know what do you have in terms of your mind, in terms of your body, or your soul, then there's nothing you can give. There's no change, no sustainable change you can make in the community or the society too. So it is really important to take care of ourselves. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Isabel, what's your take?
I feel like everyone is revved up, but for me, what resonates with me when it comes to self-care, I'll break it down to two parts. There's the self. What is the self? So I was just brainstorming on what the self means for myself before I googled anything. And the self means you as the person, means the emotional being, means the physical being, means the mental being. So the self is more of you as a person, besides the physical that we see, but you inside, how are you? And I think I'm also glad you asked us how are we when we begin this session. So in the morning, or maybe something ticks you off, ask yourself, like the self, how am I feeling? That's being a self-awareness. So I think self-care, before we talk about taking care of the self, the care, I think the self, it's more of like prioritizing the self. Sometimes I'm actually excited because he said it sounds. Some people say it sounds selfish. When I was reading it, I thought like it sounds selfish, but at the end of the day, are you going to function if the self is not intact? Are you going to function if the self is not okay? So I think when we're talking about self-care now, it's taking of that self. So it goes back to taking of your care of yourself, taking care of your needs, being self-aware, being aware of your emotions, being aware of your physical being. So it all goes to just being understanding yourself and being self-aware, knowing yeah, this is my mood. Today I feel happy. You won't feel motivated every day. So being aware of the self makes you know, today I'm feeling motivated, today I'm feeling excited, or today I'm not feeling well. That's why it goes to taking care. Now when you're taking care, when you get a headache, obviously you become self-aware I have a headache. But we can't take the headache. Sometimes yes, it's the sun, but sometimes the headache is you overthinking. So I think self-care now, when we're mixing it together, it all goes down to putting yourself first, being self-aware of yourself. So basically, for me, that's what self-care is.
Yes,
Thank you.
self-care. Yeah,
Katina,
definitely. Yes.
Katinda, I have come across something I stumbled on as I was going through this topic that
Yes.
resonates very well with what Emamse has said. This is a definition from World Health Organization on what self-care is. And it says it is the ability of an individual or a family or community to promote health and prevent disease and maintain health and to cope with disability or life challenges without the support of a healthcare provider. And this where we don't use the services of a healthcare provider is where people think that going out for myself and myself is selfishness or I am self-centered. But here we are saying, can we do away with the service provider? How well are you able to take care of yourself amidst your busy schedule, amidst your day-to-day activities, whether it is running a home, whether it is in work, whether it is even a student? And with that, you don't need the services of a healthcare provider. And I think that definition come in very well at the moment as we are asking each other, what are you doing to maintain your equilibrium? Thank you.
Yes, so definitely I like that because, caring for yourself is not self-indulgence. It's definitely self-preservation. And, some people, I say it's selfless to love you. It's not selfish as well. So moving forward, so we know that self-care can look really different for different people. And to figure out what self-care means for everybody it's what really makes them feel good. So what does self-care look like right now amidst the COVID-19 pandemic?
Okay. Can I go ahead?
Yes, go for it.
I think for me, post-COVID, self-care is all about a precautionary measure to prevent the spread of COVID. That's one. A measure again to ensure that we share the knowledge that we know about preventionary measure. Now, during the course of COVID, we have come to hear stay safe, stay strong, stay alive, wash your hand, cover your nose, sneeze on your hand, when you are removing your nose mask, this is the way you do it, this is the way you should not do it, this is the measure, social distance. Now, these are knowledge that is not relatively available across board. Now, post-COVID, it's important. Even if you want to stay safe as a person post-COVID, your neighbor that is beside you, does he have the right understanding of hand sanitization? Does he have the understanding of social distance? Now, post-COVID, it's important as we are ensuring that we stay safe to reduce the spread and break the chain of COVID in our society. It's also very, very important now. It's also very important now. It's very, very important now for us also to ensure that we share the knowledge that we have with people around us for the chain of that COVID to be broken. And the last one is self-care post-COVID has also taught us why we need to care for ourselves. Not only myself, care for my family. Not only my family, care for my society. Not only for my society, care for the generation of people that will be eroded with the impact of this COVID if I did not share that knowledge. Now, as a person, post-COVID, those knowledge needed to be shared for me to stay safe. If I take the precautionary measure and the next person beside me does not take the precautionary measure, that makes my action to be void. And that's the way I see it post-COVID. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else wants to give us some more insight? What does self-care look like amidst COVID-19?
I think I can go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a situation in the African context, and I am seeing a situation where self-care has been neglected. And why I'm saying so, if you look at what has happened, the lockdown, the restrictions, the fear that people are having, the losses, the depression, anxiety, everybody is keeping to himself or herself. And then I look at the people who are supposed to offer the services. They are the front liners. Who is giving them leave They are overloaded. They have heavy workload. They don't have time to take care of themselves. For example, you apply for leave and you want 30 days, you are told you can only take 5 days and you spread them out. So 5 days after every 3 months, it is not enough for a person who is working almost 24 hours because the shifts are very, very heavy because again, the situation is not very good on the ground. Then we come back to the schools. The schools were closed down. They have been reopened and they want to go back to the old normal. The new normal is we are having short terms, no breaks. Curriculum is being covered within the same time. If it was 14 weeks, it is being covered within 10 weeks. The teachers are overwhelmed. The students, you look at them, cognitive development, they are not capable of taking in what is being covered. So you find that two people here are already stretched out, the teacher and the student. Then you go home, you find that the parent is also stretched out. He is running up and about to ensure that they take care of the family. The businesses we are closed, so you are looking for alternative means of income. And here you find that people are doing 2, 3 jobs to ensure that they meet their basic needs. This parent has no time, no break at all. We come back to the house, the children have a lot of homework, the mother is supposed to supervise. It is a total mess. So for me, I'm seeing a situation where the self-care has been neglected within this particular period as a result of pandemic. The restrictions are not helping us in terms of self-care. They are just measures taken to reduce the spread of the pandemic. But in terms of self-management, self-rejuvenation, and what you said there's a word you used, self-preservation. It is not taking place. You find we have people walking on the roads like stooges because they are carrying so much in their heads and it is not being taken care of. So we need to be creative and see what we can do to help the people improve and live a better life. Thank you.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, I know that is something that's happening across the globe. It's not just in Africa only, it's everywhere because I'm in Australia and we had like I think 10 weeks lockdown. We've just been released, basically, I should say. We are free for the last few days, but it doesn't feel like it because you're still worried that you can still catch something and you have to still maintain your self-care routine and everything. So, Isabel, what
Yes.
would you like to add?
Okay, I will just jump in. So now, currently, we see that the lockdown conditions are easing a bit, but at the same time, we also need to be aware that people lost jobs, people lost some opportunities, some have to be retrenched. Like we were saying that children at school, they need to adjust to being social distanced. And how is a 10-year-old going to understand that I need to stay apart from my friend? So it's still a lot. We are still adjusting. So I think what self-care will look like in terms of the pandemic currently, obviously, number one thing will be making sure you take care of yourself. You wear that mask, you sanitize, you social distance. But at the same time, we need to also look at, we are moving from a time where we used to hold hands, we used to hug each other. But at the same time, now we are a bit confused. It's easing, but when you hug someone, you need to have that distance at the same time. So I think currently under the pandemic, the self care looks like taking care of yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. We still go adjusting. Everyone is still adjusting. Be it the children, the teachers. I think even with occupational health, that 9 to 5 still after the lockdown, working from home. What are you doing as much as you're still working from home? What are you doing to take care of yourself? Go out on a weekend, just spend the time outside in the sun because Monday to Friday you are doing your 9 to 5. if you are now back at the office, what does self-care look like? What does reconnecting with your colleagues whom you haven't seen in like 6 months or so look like? So I think currently it's more of adjusting, not really adjusting to the extent where we say we are ignoring that the COVID pandemic is over, because we are hearing that there might be a wave. We need to still we have protocols. And the other also important thing is you get vaccinated, which I won't go deep because some people are still a bit skeptical and all that. So it's a lot. It's overwhelming. But I think post COVID, or now that COVID has eased, we also need to not overindulge and say it's over. But remember that you need to also take care of yourself, even though things are changing, we're adjusting and all that. Yeah, I think that would be all from me.
Thank you. Thank you. We have, yes, you have
Yes.
something to add?
Can I say something?
Yes, it's your turn.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I know so many things has been said, which leaves me with little room for to jump in. But I will say COVID-19 as on one point in terms of prevention, um, that which has to do with our physical, because we were obliged by all the precautions and everything, all the measures that have been put in place, all the regulations to take care of ourselves just on one level, on the physical level. So we only care about being healthy, just our body feeling good, not having COVID, not having symptoms, which is good. Wearing a mask, but we are now, for example, me, I'm working from home, and before that there was a lockdown in New York, so there was no jobs at all, and it was so hard for many people to adjust and to find the right balance. So we kind of neglected the spiritual and the mental and the all the emotional side of self-care, because right because we forget about all the stress that came with the fact of abiding by the regulations, by the rules, staying at home, staying healthy. What about um, all the children, for example, who love playing outside with their friends, who love to go out. But what about those people who in Africa basically who cannot have like money, or who cannot bring something home unless they go outside and work? Those people who have those informal jobs, or they have to go out. All those moms who have to go out and sell something in order for them to take care of their kids. All those people, we tell them, hey, you stay home regardless. So even the government took the measures in the blind way. They didn't even think about what are the consequences of those. So these um this led to a lot of stress in the population, and now we need to learn to cope with this stress in a healthy way, in the way that we make us and those people who are around us more resilient. So we have seen it. People are being more anxious. For example, at the beginning of COVID-19, I myself, I was really stressed out. I was really anxious, and I was having emotional distress like anger, sometimes sadness, things that I can't even control. Then how do people have managed to have a balance? So I think I will just mention a few examples for on my side. When I used to be really emotionally stressed at this time of COVID, I would just take a break. That's my most practical way. I'll just take a break from watching the news, because the news are also a way to give people most discomfort in terms of stress, because they just every day they're talking about all those people that are being killed by the COVID, by the virus, and then they cover so much about the losses that we have, or the jobs that people are losing and all the people that are being killed. So this make people it put people in the bad situation that in home they can't even concentrate. Even when you're working from home, you can't even concentrate because your kids are out there making noise and you have to do something. Then I used to take a break from everything, from social media. Sometimes I delete Facebook app on my phone. I delete all the social media. I just stay away from everything. Maybe I start reading something. I try to meditate. So I try to do some exercise at home. So it's really important to just take a break from all those things that are going around you, and then just try to refocus on yourself to replenish your spirit in terms of meditation and um but we and also get some sleep, because many people in this time of COVID are not getting enough sleep because they're being distressed. We need to think about it. So yeah, I think I would say COVID-19 really impacted self-care in the way that we mostly focus our attention in the physical part, but we all forgot about the emotional distress that can bring.
Thank you. You've actually touched on a lot of the questions that we're about to ask, which are about how do you practice self-care, which you've talked about, taking a break, sleeping, I guess also drinking lots of water and exercising are some of those basic things people need to consider. So why is self-care a key concept to positive health outcomes? Actually, we have a comment from here, Yandi Noni. She says, "Good evening, everyone, watching from Australia. Originally from South Africa, I'm a child protection practitioner and really struggling with self-care. I think when you work with vulnerable population like children and women, there is always the danger to forget about yourself and focus on helping others." Yes, that is so true. Dr. Elizabeth, did you want to say something to her? Because I think she might need your insight. We can't hear you. You muted
Yes.
yourself.
Yes, Yandi, very sorry about that, but it is good that you have reached out. Uh, you don't really need to work with the vulnerable populations for you to be vulnerable. Any kind of work, if you don't take care of yourself, you get different types of fatigue. Like you can get compassion fatigue because you are committed to a cause. And for example, if you look at the people worked in the disciplined forces, they get this compassion fatigue because they are just on a day-to-day basis. It is the normal routine. It is their normal. They don't have theirs. But for you, you don't need to struggle with the self-care because service provision is there. Like we are offering online counseling or therapy. You can reach out to us. I think you'll be able to get our number. Like if you get my number, I can be able to connect you well if you are not able to work with me. And you need to just seek the service of a provider to just explore what opportunities you have, your abilities, your strengths, so that you see what you can use among your strengths, the opportunities around you that you can use, so that at least you can be able to take care of yourself. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that. So moving forward, why is self-care a key concept to positive health outcomes? Isabel.
That I'll go with that. I think it's important because for positive health outcomes, you are not going to function if you are distressed, if you are not sleeping. So it all goes down to you have to sleep, you have to take care of your personal hygiene. So that also adds to positive health outcomes. What does that mean? It means you have taken care of the self. So automatically, if you are getting enough sleep, if you are eating healthy, if you are going out for a walk, you're not going to be fatigued, you're not going to be tired all the time. So I think self-care is important because it's actually the reason why you have positive outcomes. For you to have positive outcomes, you need to take care of yourself. You need, if you are religious, you pray, you meditate. Under the COVID circumstances, I'll go back to that. Wear your mask. that leads to positive health outcomes. What does it mean? You're not going to increase your chances of getting the COVID pandemic, the COVID disease, I mean. So I think it's a key element, because we can't have positive outcomes without self-care. These things are interlinked and they are interdependent. That's what I think, why self-care is very important. And I think it's also integral in just keeping ourselves emotionally intact, keeping ourselves in a good space. Like she was saying that you are working, you are tired, you are overwhelmed. At the same time, as much as you are assisting vulnerable children, you can't pour from an empty cup. You also need yourself to be okay. I think that's what I think.
And yes, Emamsi, you're muted. Emamsi, you're talking, but you're muted.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Sorry about that. So I would say the key concept to positive health outcome. Was that a question, right?
Yes.
So,
What's the key? What's the self-care? Why is self-care a key concept to positive health outcomes?
Yeah, the most the first thing that comes in my mind, I would say, it's because self-care can improve anyone's physical health, and self-care can reduce stress and anxiety. Self-care really boosts our self-esteem, and it also protects our mental health. I will develop maybe it just in a minute, but also ultimately it can lead you to a better relationship with people that are around you, but also give you a good, you'll be more in good standing in terms of your leadership, in terms of decision making. The more time you take to take care of yourself in terms of how do you, if you have enough sleep, do you exercise, do you eat well, do you really take time for yourself, that will actually have a positive outcome in terms of how you handle any stressful situations that will come along the way in your daily in your daily challenges. So I would say a big part of self-care is committing to look after your body and becoming more aware of what your body needs. Do you need sleep? Do you need food at this time of the day? What time of the day? Whether it's just brushing your teeth or exercising, or getting enough sleep, part of any program of healthcare should focus on looking after your physical health. So stress and anxiety, I will really I will emphasize on those two elements because they are really important, and people try to neglect it. But making time for yourself to doing some relaxing activities, such as taking a warm bath, for example, in the middle of the day, I just love it. And listening to music, for example, sometimes practicing yoga, meditating. I don't know how many times in a day people who are watching us can take the time and meditate, but those are a way that we can boost our productivity, and then it's really also a boost to your self-esteem, how you can be more confident in a day, and especially during the time when after you graduate, for example, you're looking for a job, you need to apply for a job and then get something in order to to take care of yourself financially. But it's really important to pay attention to all those small things that can build up to a greater result in terms of your productivity. Yeah, so I would say definitely the key outcomes are reducing stress, improving your and boosting your self-esteem, your leadership, your decision making when you in a professional settings. Yeah, I will
Thank you.
stop by there.
Thank you. Yeah, another thing which is also very simple for a lot of people is just pausing and taking a deep breath. Because some people maybe find meditation not something that it's not their way of dealing with things. So taking a breath, like breathing in and breathing out, 4 seconds, hold for 2, It's just, it changes the whole dynamics, and it just changes your physiology, and it gives you, energizes you as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we have a comment from Labelle Elisiana. Exactly. Self-care is all about physical condition, putting yourself first, know what you need, and asking for what you need. Yes, that is so true. And we have Majak. Oh, we've got a few people making comments. Edith says, one important aspect of self-care that we often neglect is introspection, observation of our own mental and emotional processes, state of mind. We need to recognize and acknowledge our own toxic traits and work towards improving ourselves. That is so true. Adigun, did you want to make a comment about that?
Yes, I am looking at use of self-care as a key concept in health outcome, and we are saying it is based on its benefits. What does it bring in into the health of the community, of the individuals? And when you look at the benefits, it is what Mamsi has talked about, physical health, emotional health, and the total well-being of individuals. You also look at it as an area that foster resilience, leading to longevity. That is, people living longer, better equipped to manage themselves and everything else. And then the other one is that if you look at the service providers, you'll find that there will be better service profession to the patients or clients that we are dealing with. Because when you are wounded, you cannot deal with a hurting person. But when you take care of yourself, you can be able to also help this person do what Edith had written, introspection, because you'll be able to deal with your toxicity, and you can also help the person look at their own toxicity so that they can be able to deal with. So for me, those 3 points came out very clearly. And I think it is self-care is not just about the pandemic and those people who are the frontliners and the health workers. But as I said earlier, it cuts across for everyone. Even my old mom requires some time to herself to be able to get in touch with the self and know who she is and what she is.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, if you've just joined us, we're talking about self-care, why it's important, and what are some practices you can actually put into your daily rituals to be able to be healthier, feel better, and just be alive. So please click share, comment, and invite your friends to watch and ask questions, because that's why we do this show every fortnight. So to encourage you, to inspire you, to give you the tools, the resources of how you can actually improve your life by having a better life, being happier, and having a fulfilled life. Now, I see here we've got a comment from Jack. He says, COVID-19 is a house arrest brother for everyone. Yes, that is very true. And again, we have another comment. Exactly, self-care is, okay, well, that's a thing that was there before. Physical condition, putting yourself first, know what you need and ask for what you need. Now, just moving forward in the interest of time. So how do we begin to shift lifelong patterns that no longer serve us? So people have a lot of habits which they do, which not really good for you. How can we start to shift those patterns? Adigun, would you like to give us some insight? Okay, I'm not sure whether you can hear us. Isabel, maybe?
Or I can jump.
I think Adigun's screen is frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frozen.
Or
Isabel, yep.
Or I can just jump. This is the question I was just waiting for. Yeah, because this is really important at this point. If you're joining us just right now, remember we were talking about self-care, and this point that I'm about to talk about is really important, I think, because we all have our strengths and weakness. We have our down moment and our high moment. So our story that keeps us down, we do have it, and everyone have those kind of stories and things that tell you we're not good enough, things that come in your head based on every situation you went through in your life, that will tell you, oh, I will never make it, I can never do it. Those doubtful thoughts that come and go, sometimes that keeps us down. So there's some limiting, maybe deep seated belief you have about yourself, an old story you keep telling yourself. It holds you back. The story isn't the objective, like for a day to day. Here's how, maybe I think it will help, how we can shift, to a new dynamic, a new paradigm. I would say being aware. Stop, like just stop where you are, focus about being more aware, and think about all the lessons, even though through the pain we have learned and how far we have come. So the key element, or the first element, will be to remember that the you are the editor in chief of your own life story. That means that's really important right there, to just remind that you are the one that taking important decision in your life. You need to find the point where your story diverges from the reality sometimes, because not everything that come in your mind is necessarily true. Sometimes it's based on your past, but the past is already gone. Now you need to wake up. When you wake up in the morning, I think you need to look at the bigger picture and look at the newest version of you. Ask if your story is really true or false. Sometimes we just have ideas. Oh, will I make it? Can I do it? Maybe you can. Of course you do. You have the ability to do it. You just have to be more confident. I Also, you need to stop, from time to times, and think about what have you done, what have worked in your life. Think about the positive side. Think self appreciation, versus self depreciation, because that's what always happen. People talk trash about themselves. Maybe a job interview didn't go well, that's why. Or maybe because COVID happened, then I'm home. You just focus on one side of the story, but take advantage of everything, that all situations that we have in our hands. Leave your whole story behind. I would say that's really important sometimes, to just look back, say, oh, dear past, I love you, you were great, I learned from you, but now I need to move forward. And then, yeah, just take a deep breath. Be confident in taking a new adventure in your life, and then and taking risk. So at last, maybe I will say, all the self-awareness and positivity in the world won't matter if you are not willing to leave your all the baggages that that has been waiting on you down. You simply must cut away, whatever uh, it doesn't serve you in a positive way. Just let it down. And
Let it go.
yes, let it go. Yeah.
Yes,
So I
thank
was so
you.
passionate about that part, so sorry for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Isabel, what do you want to add to that?
Yes, I think you said, how do we maybe adjust from our old habits? That was that the question?
Yes. How do we
Yes.
how do we begin to shift from, those long life patterns that do not serve us anymore?
Okay, I think it's the first important thing, obviously, is like we were all talking about self-awareness. Just identify, focus on what you need to change. If you're someone like me who's big on writing it down, jot down what you want to have, what you want to change, what you want to shift from, and then maneuver around ways of how you can achieve that. Because make it a goal. If maybe I want to start maybe meditating, I'll make it a goal, set a reminder on your phone. I'll meditate maybe at 5 p.m. or I'll meditate just before bed. And then I think when it comes to adjusting, you can't do it alone. If you need support from a friend, it's good. You can just do it along with a friend. They'll remind you, did you do this? Did you remember? I think leave yourself reminders, sticky notes or your phone. If you have one, you can just do that. And then also don't be too hard on yourself in the process of wanting to adjust. Understand that there'll be a bit of slip ups and there'll be a bit of challenges, just like people who diet. I hear they say, I have a cheat day. You are human at the end of the day. You can't be too hard on yourself. So yeah. And then let go of that all or nothing mindset whereby you think, if I sleep up today, then I will never do it. I can't be able to adjust and all that. So I think it's to also, it's important to also, you can't just adjust. You have to replace that old habit maybe with a new healthy one that won't put you at risk or something. So I think it's important not to be too hard on yourself as much as you want to adjust. Just accept that you're also human, and think of what you really need to change and just go for it.
Thank you. Thank you. I know actually one thing that really works well is writing a journal, just in your journal every day writing. Also, something that I do and I practice is a gratitude journal. So
Yes.
I have a journal which it's like 5 questions in the day. It's like, of course, to start with how you're feeling, what are 3 things you're grateful for, and what went well in the day, and what didn't go well, and because it didn't go well, how can you improve and make tomorrow a better day? So as you said, there's no need to be hard on yourself. We're still human beings, and this is just life. It's try and error. The point is you're trying, you're doing something, you're taking inspired action. You're not sitting back and giving up and saying, well, I give up, because giving up is not an option. It's never an option. Dr. Elizabeth, what would you like to add to that?
I like the enthusiasm about this question, and even me, when I looked at them, I said this is a very interesting one, because we are stuck in our old ways. We are stuck in a communal behavior. We are stuck in an organizational procedure, and we forget who we are. So I started by saying, can you have what we call self-awareness? Because we are talking about you, where if it is Elizabeth, I would say me, I, and myself. Do I know myself? Self-awareness. And having that self-awareness will help me understand myself better. What turns me on and off? What does my body say at a particular time? If I'm having a headache, what is that headache indicating? Is it that I need lunch? Is it that I need rest? Or is it that I need to see a doctor? But not to self-medicate. The other thing is that you need to identify what works for you or what does not work. You find that many a times in our cultural upbringing or socializations, when you have a headache, you are told you can do this or that, and then you adapt to that. But it is not working for everybody. It may work for KATINDA, it may not work for EMAMSI. So again, you identify that and you make a list of what works for you. And this is also where I said create a reservoir of skills. And this, I'm saying coping skills. You have talked about journaling. Some people are very poor in writing. They write halfway, they forget. But I like the gratitude list because it comes out very easily. You can say it every day. You can memorize it if you're not able to write. Is it working for you? Is it going to work for me? For me, I can also decide I am reading, or I am sleeping the whole day, or I am watching a movie the whole day. The other one is what Mamse has said. And I had written down saying, create your own script, your own story. As he said, you are the editor and the author, you are the author and editor of your own story. For me, I ask one question: whose story am I adapting? Am I telling the story of another person? Have I internalized the story of another person? Am I enacting the story of another person? What is the real story? That is now for me, my work, my life. How can I tell it? How can I present it? And that is why I said, write your own script. If you have a poor script, redefine yourself. And I was taking this analogy of a vehicle. After those who drive, those who have vehicles, they know after certain number of mileage, you need to take this vehicle for servicing. It needs to be serviced. The owner also knows when do you need to refuel, where do you need to do realignment, where do you need to do to deal with the body. It is the same for us as individuals. So as you are changing those that are not working and adapting what is working, don't adapt what is working for Elizabeth. And I also said we should avoid adapting other people's pathology. For example, and I want to give a good example with myself.
Yes.
I went for COVID vaccine. Then I am in the queue and we were grouped, three groups. The first group ended. The second group, they were at number 87. I still remember because for me, I find it very funny after the experience. I texted my daughter and I told her I am at this facility awaiting for COVID vaccine. She sent all the negative clips that have been circulating in the world. Then the people who were sitting next to me, they gave very negative experiences, what you'll go through after the vaccine. And they gave examples. Fortunately, they had come from the area where I reside. And because I was unwell the previous week, I could feel that is the headache and it is going to be worse. I woke up and left. That is how I did not take the vaccine. Reason, other people's story. It became mine. I also went home more sick because I had what was the other person. So this is what I'm saying. Avoid adapting other people's pathology. And then choose a life that is not full of negativity. Pessimistic personality, pessimistic person, you never achieve anything. You never fulfill your dreams. Learn to be optimistic and to treat yourself with respect. And then the last one, the other one is to create your boundaries. Boundaries at work, boundaries at home, everywhere. Who comes first? Who do you allow into your territories? Create that boundary. And the last one is learn to say no. If you learn to say no to more assignments, how much are you putting in your mouth? It can only hold a certain amount of water. It cannot hold a whole gallon of water. So you must learn to say no when you have reached your limit. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that is so amazing because everything you were saying, I was just thinking of how that is so real because I'm one of those people. I always say to everybody, always try to make sure you're a product of your own conclusion. No matter what happens, people can say what they need to say, people can be negative, whatever, but at the end of the day, like Mamzi said, you're the one who writes the story. You're the chief editor. So what is your story? You've heard the negatives, you had the positives. What do you think your conclusion is based on your own ideas, not other people's ideas? And yes, the changing of the old program, the story that you've always been, because maybe sometimes it's what you've been told and that's what you've lived by. And a lot of people live by the fact that other people have told them who to be. So they try to be that person for other people when it's not really them. That's not their life. That's not their story. And another thing I really like is for people to have a personal mission statement. Really, what is your personal mission statement? What is your life about? What do you want to achieve in this life? What do you want? I always have this analogy. In 100 years' time, how do you want to be remembered? What's your legacy going to be? And it has to be something that is bigger than you, which means helping other people, because that's the whole idea. Now, I see here we've got a comment from Husseina. Write your own script resonates so well, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, that's definitely. Now, because we are running out of time, but we've got a few more questions, this is a very exciting topic. I think we just need to tackle this. So how do we really have to reduce stress? I know we've mentioned so many things, meditating, writing, gratitude, exercising, fresh air. What else can people do, especially today? Let's say once they finish watching this show today, what is one thing they need to start doing immediately to care for themselves? Isabel.
And I think it's to think of what works for you. Just like we said, think of what works for you. We can't copy and paste how we practice self care. I may be I may be working well with journaling, gratitude. Someone goes for a jog, someone goes for a hike. So I think after this session, for me personally, I think it's to that self awareness again. It's to just reflect on what works for me, and then I start implementing what works for me, and just avoid what like Elizabeth was saying, avoid self-diagnosing. If you need help, if I can't cope with my stress, I'll go for counseling. If I can't cope with my headaches, I'll see a professional, that rather than making my own solutions for myself. At the end of the day, you need the help of other people, professionals, in order to cope and just adjust and practice self-care. Yeah.
Thank you. What about Elizabeth? What would you say? What is something people can do straight away after watching this show today, right away?
One of the things you need to do is to take time off, to rest, reset, and rejuvenate. Rest, reset, rejuvenate.
Yes, that's a good one. What about Imamsi? What do you think?
All
What is
right. So
something people can do as soon as they get off this show today?
as soon as you get off this show, I would say take a break. Definitely meditate if you want to, because that I will say it depends on how your what motivates you most. What do you like more? Do you like exercising more or meditating more? Or take a nap. A little nap. I'm not saying sleeping all the day, but take a nap if needs be. You know, definitely avoid excessive alcohol consumption, like tobacco or all kind of substances, because some people use those things to kind of avoid the reality, but you don't need it. You definitely don't need it. And have make your time to unwind. Try to do some other activity you enjoy. If you love going like in the nature, taking pictures of the nature, do it. If that really connects with your soul and your spirit, definitely do it. And also connect with others, by talking with people, people you love, people you trust. Share your concern with them and how you feel with them. It's really important. I know so many of us wanna change people's life, wanna impact their life, but we forget we also have a life. We also need people to hear us and hear our needs, hear how we feel, and also connect with your community or maybe your faith-based organization. It depends. Yeah.
Yeah, see here we've got a comment from Oluda Hunsi. He says, self-care to me is talking about all the care one can give unto himself to avoid absolutely knockdown of the body by stress or other psychological attacks. Yes, that is so true. Now, Mamsi, you were just saying, about people meditating and everything like that. So if people don't know how to meditate, how do they do that?
I think meditation, we can learn it. We're not born. It's not a skill that we are born with. You can learn it. Sometimes you can just take a deep breath. Exhale and breathe, and just focus. Try to think about something that will connect with your spirit and soul. Some people will just love praying. Some people will connect meditating with prayer, but it doesn't have to be just simply to connect with a prayer or a divine entity, but also we can just refocus about the idea of appreciation. We can just stop right there, think about what you have accomplished so far and appreciate yourself, and then just replenish the oxygen in your body, just about focusing on the good side of the picture actually. And then just you can do it daily. Learn a minute, 1 minute. You just stop right there, think, close your eyes, don't feel anything, then start feeling again. You can repeat it on a daily basis, and then you will become more skilled. Yeah.
Yes. So we have the last question. So what are some coping skills that we need to have in order to overcome various types of loss that have resulted from the pandemic? So we've got loss of income, loss of loved ones, loss of opportunities, income, and everything. What are some skills that we can use? I know you're talking about meditation. That's a good skill, but
Mhm.
what else is there?
I would say creativity. We need to become more creative. The pandemic has imposed as a new reality. Sometimes maybe the reality we were living in the past, maybe 2 years ago, is not the same anymore now. So we need to come up with new ways to survive. I know, but also to think more creatively. I think creative thinking is really important, but also we need to be more realistic. We need to be more realistic. It's great actually to be optimistic, but knowing exactly what are your options is important also to for you to navigate through the pandemic and what you can do. So set your boundaries, know your limits, know where you can go, what you can touch, what you can do, and know where you can focus more your energy in. And I would say definitely reconnect with things you enjoy the most. That's the most important skill we can have.
Thank you. The one thing I'd like to say here is I find, like for myself, I've tried to go back to things I used to enjoy as a child. Because,
Mhm.
all of us have some sort of childhood memory which was
Yeah.
amazing. And
Yes.
so I started doing the hula hooping and
Oh,
skipping because it's just, if you're locked down and you can't leave the house, you're going to be creative and come up with things to exercise while you're
I
inside.
love that
So
one.
actually, if you go on my social media, I was hula hooping the other day and I put it on video, and I guess people are going, "Oh my gosh, what's happening with her?" But
I
it's
love to see the video.
yeah, it's going back to your childhood. If you had a good childhood, there's a lot of things we still love to do, and because we grew up and because we became a
Mm.
product of other people's conclusion, we stopped having fun with those things because now you're grown up, you can't do that. And who gives those rules? I mean, I refuse to grow up as long as I'm having a good time. That's the main thing. So what about Dr. Elizabeth? What do you think about what are some coping skills that people need to adapt if they've lost someone or lost income?
I'll confess that I have become envious of you if you are able to do the hula hoop. For
Oh yes.
all my life, I have tried that thing. It never worked for me. But I have such nice memories, childhood memories. You need to come to my office and see what I do and what I have kept in that room. You will enjoy it. It is good. And nobody will tell me that I am an adult. Nobody will tell me it is
That's true.
childish. That is you. For me, it works. And one thing I would tell everyone who is listening to us is that number one, acknowledge that you are not the cause of the problem that is you are going through. Acknowledge that the loss is there, and acknowledge that we are all different and we shall experience these challenges, these losses differently, and our reactions will be different. However, remember to reach out to a professional if the support system around you is not helping. Reach out for help because professionals will do a better job than when you keep to yourself.
Mhm.
Yes, very true. Isabel, what would you like to add?
Oh yes, I'll just add on in terms of loss because people think loss it's losing a loved one, but loss comes in different shapes and forms. Losing a job on its own is a loss. Losing a friend is a loss. Losing an opportunity is a loss. So I think it's important to just that self-awareness of acknowledge your loss, like Elizabeth was saying, acknowledge your loss. After acknowledging your loss, what do you do? And there are various stages of loss. There's denial. You can be in denial that actually lost this opportunity. I've actually lost this loved one. There are various stages of loss. There's acceptance. You understand? There's also bargaining when you're like just trying to bargain. Even maybe we have lost a loved one. You're like, if only I had taken them to the hospital in time, they would have survived. You understand? So I think it's being self-aware, and just like Elizabeth is saying, it's very important, especially in our African culture. You tell someone that you need to go for maybe therapy, they'll tell, those things are for white people. I think we need to shift from that. We need to unlearn that culture, because at the end of the day, we all need professional help, be it with our physical ailments, be it with our emotional ailments. We need professional help. So I'll just emphasize in terms of especially grief. I know we mourn in different ways, but it's also important to get grief therapy if you have lost a loved one. That is very important in helping you to adapt to new coping mechanisms. For example, you be told to make a memory box of that person that you lost, create a collage. It will help a lot. So I think it's just that the important thing that I'll emphasize on is seeking help, because coming from the fields that I work in, I see a lot of people that will come when it's at a peak, or they'll come when they've lost all hope. It's important to just keep getting support, even when you are okay. Keep getting support. Keep being practicing self-care. Don't practice it when you are at a stage whereby you are no longer aware well. So I think that's very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we just one more thing here. So before we conclude, I know there's so many ways to protect and manage your mental health and well-being. So what is one self-care ritual you do for yourself on a daily basis to soothe your soul? Dr. Elizabeth.
I am a very good fan of the Nigerian movies. So if I am bored, I look for my best actor, sit down, do the mama oh yawa, and then I am able to go and listening to music. I am very good at that. And I have adapted it as part of my activities when today if I do this one, tomorrow I do this one. Right now after this, I know the movie I'm going to watch for 30 minutes.
Wow, that's
Yes.
great. That's great. What about Emamsi? What is one thing, self-care ritual that you do for yourself on a daily basis to soothe your soul?
Dancing.
Dancing?
I
Great.
love dancing. I'll just put some music on YouTube and watch. Today there are a lot of Afro dance
Oh, yes.
kind of moves, and I try to learn whatever I see on the screen, and then yeah, that really just helped me, uh, to connect with myself and to just help me boost my productivity right after when I go back to work or do anything else.
Great. What about Isabel? What do you do? What's your
Uh,
self-care
for
ritual?
me, for me, my self-care ritual is journaling. I adapted this last year during hard lockdown when I had to do my final year at
What was that?
home, and journaling. I'm a fan of journaling. Yes, that gratitude list, I keep it every day. I might not practice every day, but at the end of the week, just looking back at the week, what am I grateful for? It really keeps my car moving. It drives me. So journaling for me is very important, and just talking when there's something that's bothering me. I'll talk to a friend. I'll talk to a counselor if I need therapy. I do that. So I think, yeah, for me it's journaling, and it's just putting things on paper. It's like taking them out of my mind and heart and just putting them out there. So it really helps me. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so good. For me, I just picked up the new thing. I do a lot of hula hooping and also do my hands and everything. So I'm having a really good time trying something different. But usually I dance as well. I put music on and just dance. But now I'm dancing with a hula hoop. So I'm doing two things at the same time, which is just extra. No, because I say you have to create your own kind of fun. We can't always
Yes.
rely on
Yes.
what other people do. So you're going to come up with your own way of thinking. What is it for me that makes me feel good when I'm in lockdown? And especially hard lockdown when you're isolated. What can you do? You're going to be creative. So, yeah, so that's what I do. I dance with a hula hoop and exercise at the same time. So it's just a win-win. Whichever way you look at it, it's all win-win. Yes, yes. So before we go, you can find more information on the Global Youth Mental Health Awareness by visiting our website, www.globalyouthmentalhealthawareness.org, or you can email jude@gymha.org. And now, where can people find you, Dr. Elizabeth? Are you on social media? Are you on Facebook? Are you on LinkedIn? Where are you?
I am on Facebook. You can get Dr. Elizabeth Njani page, or you can get Elizabeth Njani page.
Thank you. What about Isabel? Where can people find you if they want to ask you questions or if they want to follow up with you?
Okay, I'm on Facebook. It's Isabel Kachingamire. On Instagram, it's Isa ISSAH_Tendai. I'm not so active on Twitter, but I'm also on LinkedIn. It's Isabel Kachingamire. So if you need anything, if you need to be linked to any resources, if you need to be linked to professional help, if you need someone to talk to, I also do virtual counseling and on all that. I also do, outreaches with girls and boys and teenagers. We have a new program that we're doing called Girls Initiative. It's for people who are in South Africa, of course, Johannesburg. We engage with teenagers, give them mental health supports along with their parents. So those are my platforms. Yes.
Thank you. What about Emamsi? Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me anywhere. Mostly on Instagram. Yeah, I've developed a good community on Instagram, so I'm really, available to answer any questions and follow up. I also do mentorship, for all those African youth, for the African youth, who are trying, to thrive. And then I'm available, on Instagram. Imamsi Mane underscore Mbosa would
So
be my
the
Instagram.
best thing to do is after the show, put all your details on the comment section so people can actually just click on it, because people don't like to write things, they like just to click. So just make sure you put it in the link so that it can just be a clickable link for them to just follow you or add you or invite you as a friend. So that's all for today. Thank you, Dr. Njani. Thank you, Emamsi. Thank you, Adigun is gone. Thank you, Isabel, for sharing your insights on self-care and how to achieve it daily. I want to thank you, viewers, for being such a fabulous audience and for watching the Global Youth Mental Health Awareness Show. Until next time, may you all experience the frequencies of light and love. Stay blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.